Sound is up and we're live.
We're live. Hey, everyone. Welcome to the show. Thanks for joining us tonight.
Woo!
Tonight is cool. We got a continuation of our sculpture that I've been working on, this mass sculpture here. So I'm going to share some more tips and techniques with you guys on that. So this is episode 21.
Mm-hmm.
Wow, man.
Old enough to drink.
Old enough to drink. Yeah, that we're old enough to drink now and party on the episode. Although I secretly have been doing that all along underage. So.
Yeah.
we're a coming of age show now. We've made it. Not really. Sam, how you doing, man? How's your weekend?
Doing good. How's my weekend?
Yeah.
Let me see. I kind of just hung out at the house. I watched an excellent movie this weekend with my girlfriend. It's called Only Yesterday by Studio Ghibli, which is Hayao Miyazaki. He's the fellow who did Spirited Away,
Yes.
Howl's Moving Castle,
Yeah.
The Wind Rises, Castles in the Sky.
Nice.
Only Yesterday, probably one of the more serious Ghibli movies I've seen. Honestly, my favorite one.
Cool.
It's super down to earth, really touching story. I highly recommend it to everyone. It's incredible.
I'll have to
great.
check that out. I'll have to check it out, man. Yeah, it sounds good. Awesome. So you had a good weekend, huh?
Yep, great
Relaxing,
weekend.
cool. Same. The weekends go too fast, though, right, guys? Like
100% they do.
What is it, man? The work week takes forever. The weekends go faster than hell. I hate it, man. It's like you just need one more day to relax.
You mean like next Monday with Labor Day?
Yeah, exactly. I can't wait. Wait, but what does that mean for our show?
I don't know. We can do one if you want.
These guys want a show on Monday, on Labor Day? Are they even going to be around to watch? They're going to be barbecuing.
I don't know. Are we? We'll talk about it.
I know I won't be barbecuing. I'll be just doing my normal thing. I'll be taking the day off, I guess. But the show would be fun. Let us know in the chat, guys. Should we do a show on Labor Day or what? Would you guys even show up?
Yeah, and let us know what you're going to be doing on Labor Day.
Yeah, let us know because you're probably barbecuing. Yeah, the weekends just go too fast, man. My wife and I are always like, what the hell happened to the weekend? Oh, man. You know, you're trying to clean up the house. You're trying to catch up on everything. You're just trying to get things done. And then, you know, it's gone back to work. Oh, my God. Yeah, but here we are trying to make your Monday better, brighter, greater, more monstery. So, yeah, tonight's show, we are going to talk about that. That's my compressor going off because I forgot to turn it off. Sorry. I'm going to go do that. Hang tight, guys. Compressors don't care what you're doing. They just make noise.
Give a little sneak peek up.
Yeah.
What you're doing.
Yeah. Yeah. So tonight, continuation of the sculpture. Yeah, Noah's not here. I'm sorry, everyone. I know it was rad having Noah. We loved having him. Thank you, Noah Rivers, for hanging out with us last weekend.
Thank you.
Sorry, last Friday.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, sculpting, jamming on stuff. But Noah had to fly to Atlanta to work, so he's gone. But he will be back, and we will do another episode with him. I think in October we're trying to plan something if he's back. So we'll see how it goes. Don't hold us to that, but we will get Noah back on as well as we'll work on getting some other guests as well. I've asked a few guys, and they
now
said
we
they're
know
interested.
it's possible. Hell yeah.
And now that we know it's possible, now that we pulled that one off, we're like, oh, whew. All right. So we'll get some more people. Awesome sculptors and whatnot in here, artists. Let's before we get started, we will talk a little bit about this contest / giveaway. We will be doing that soon. I think the plan was to pick tonight, but I think we're gonna wait one more week because we just gotta get everything together. But let me let you know a little bit about this and the idea. I've kind of expanded on it. So this will be a giveaway where I am going to cast 10 of these Cyclops busts. This is a mini Cyclops bust that I called Gargantuan that I did years ago. So pretty small bust, one piece of resin. And we're going to give 10 of these away. We're going to pick 10 names, 10 lucky winners, and of course you can't be a previous winner. Because I think it's fair. I think it's only fair that the previous winners are excluded for this contest. Just for a little while, not for always, just for a little bit. Don't lose it. Don't leave the show yet. Don't get mad at me. Just want to keep things fair. And what's that?
Oh, I said we have the previous winners' names too.
Oh yeah. By the way, previous winners, all your busts. If you weren't joining us last Friday, all your busts are painted and done and ready to be shipped.
Picture of that too.
Oh yeah, there we go.
Oh, yeah.
There they are. I got them all done. Over the weekend I sealed them all and I glossed all the eyes and everything, so they're ready to go. They're gonna get shipped. Okay, so going back to this new giveaway, I'll do 10 of these castings, and we'll pick winners and give them away. However, the one stipulation with this is it's a contest, so it's a giveaway. You get this bust. But you don't get to just keep it and do nothing with it. You have to paint it. You have to paint it. You can paint it any way you want. You can paint it realistic, fleshy, retro, whatever you want to do. But you got to paint it. And we'll give you guys ample time, 3-4 weeks, something like that, to turn it around. You paint it. You submit the pictures to us. We're going to share it on the live stream and judge it. And then we're going to pick, out of those 10 guys, we're going to pick 3 lucky winners. And each winner, first place, will receive a bust from me, a resin bust about this big, unpainted, for free, like a nice size resin bust. The second place winner will receive a smaller, mid-sized zombie head, like this one right here. And then the last place winner will receive another mini bust, a different one. So each winner will receive something cool for just spending a little time painting and having fun. And you don't have to be the best painter in the world. Just do something cool. You can add to this, whatever you want. So that'll be the contest / giveaway situation for the next one. I thought we should do something different than before, something fun. Let's turn it into a little bit of a contest. It gives you painters a chance to showcase your skills and kill it and do your thing. So I think it'll be fun. But if you are not up for painting, you can always, when we pick the names of winners, you can always give us a pass and just say, hey, I'm good, I'll pass because I don't want to paint. But if you want to do this, it's for those out there that want to paint and show their skills, and we'll share it on live on the show. Okay, so that's kind of how we'll run that contest. I think it'll be a lot of fun. So giveaway / contest / giveaway.
Yeah,
I think it's cool. All right, so tonight we are sculpting this mask. And I gave Sam a revised drawing to share with you guys. Yeah, I kind of tweaked the drawing a while back, but we never showed it to you guys, just for fun.
I'll have that up throughout the show.
Yeah, it's just a quick photo. I spent an hour sketching this thing in Photoshop, so it's nothing special. But oh, you know what? I need my glasses. Sorry.
Actually, while Casey is getting his glasses, this gives me a good opportunity to kind of shout out to all the people who are joining us tonight.
Oh yeah.
We got Chris Dawson, Magneto Creations, Matt Cable, Kevin Young, Jason Giaconetti, My Mental Factory, all rejoining us for tonight. What's up, guys?
What
We got
up?
Shelly Moth returning as well. We got My Masks and Horror Collectibles actually shouting out your new tattoo on your right arm. Wondering if that's new
rad.
ink.
Yeah, some new stuff here.
Then we got John Eubank joining us, Eric Mortensen, Neo Kazama also returning as well, Mad Makes, JB Cunningham, H&J, Neil Leffler. We got Poise is Decent. Poise is Mad Decent.
Nice.
And then Mr. Halloween. I think I mentioned Mr. Halloween. I can't remember. Mark FX, Thomas K, Rich Weant, Just Jen, Brian McRuden, and Jerry PF, who started off tonight's stream by singing some lyrics from Comfortably Numb, which I'm a big fan of. So thank you, Jerry, for that. Welcome, everybody.
Welcome, welcome. Thank you guys for joining again. Appreciate your guys' support. That's what helps this show grow
For sure.
and push forward. Can't do it without you guys. And that's what these contests and giveaways are about. It's like a way to give back to you guys for hanging with us and supporting the show and sharing with your friends and getting the word out there. There's been a lot of people, that share it on Instagram, and we greatly appreciate that kind of thing because it really does help get the word out. By the way, if you guys aren't aware or not familiar, we have a Monday Night Monster Jam Facebook group, which you can join. And it's a lot of fun. There's a lot of great artists sharing work there, work in progress and finished work, and you can share your work, or you can just check it out if you're just a fan or whatever. You don't even have to share work. You can just go there and check out what everyone's doing. But it's a good way to kind of fill the rest of your week while you're waiting for the next Monday Night Monster Jam to take place. So check it out. Join. It's on Facebook. It's up to like 800 people or something like that right now. So we're getting new people every day. It's great. Thank you so much. It's awesome to see that place growing. So, what am I doing tonight? Well, on this mask, on this sculpture, I'm going to work on definitely cleaning up the mouth and teeth. And you'll get to see a little bit of my process on how I do that. Sculpt the ears in, make these ears look a little more correct. If that's what I need to do, make them look, more like real ears. So I will work on that and answer questions and stuff like that. Talk about monsters and weird things like this. Fun things. So monsters, masks. Love that. Monsters and masks. I don't know. I grew up, when I grew up, it was the 80s. I grew up in a great time frame, I think. I believe it was a magical time frame for me because Halloween stores carried all these incredibly awesome masks, of the 80s era. Of course, that was a golden age of horror films. If there ever was one, it was that time period. You had slasher films, you had, horror movies and left and right. And yeah, it's just a great time. Video stores, you go to the video store with your parents, and if your parents were cool like mine, they let you pick out, awesome horror movies to watch with your friends. And unless it had sex, then no. But anyway, damn, no. Anyway, the whole thing was, it was just a cool time to grow up, and I have a lot of fond memories. Even the house I used to live in is in a very funny way is a huge memory. And my friends and everything like that. Skateboarding, monster movies, hanging with friends, all that good stuff. Break dancing. I did do that. Going to the park, playing ditch 'em. We called it ditch 'em. What did you guys call it? Like hide and seek. We called it ditch 'em when we were little. That's what we played. You had teams of people, and one team goes and hides, and then they gotta come find you and tag you, and that was cool. Just cool memories from my childhood. And then enter the Monster Mask, monster movie era. Grew up on stuff like Ray Harryhausen films, which presented more of the fantasy art side of things and very interesting fantastic fantasy monsters. I can remember going to, I think, the drive-in to see Clash of the Titans, Empire Strikes Back, all those things. So with that, like I said, there were stores at my local mall that would carry these masks, and they'd be hanging in the shops and or up on shelves and in one after another. And I I'd always, as a kid, just freak out, and when I saw these things, and uh, just loved them. There's heads looking back at you, and they're so interesting. Blow my mind. I don't know, just something about it. Hard to put into words other than it is just like so magical. And beyond, not even that, not even just Halloween time. Disneyland. We go to Disneyland, and in the magic shop there was masks, always masks. And that's the thing I always went to look at. Like to go into the magic shop, man. The first thing I look at is find the werewolf masks and the Frankenstein and Dracula. There were the Don Post masks. That was like, didn't even have to be Halloween time. That was just there anytime you went to Disneyland. They had those masks. That was awesome too. So, but yeah, I have a big love and fascination of these things. I don't know why. Rubber monster masks. They're just cool, man. There's just nothing like it.
Yeah,
Nothing else like it.
creme de la creme on the YouTube chat right now is saying, sometimes I wish I was born in that area, I guess in that time period. They
Yeah.
said they're only 15 right now, lol.
Oh, yeah, yeah. Well, the cool thing about this time period now is we've got all the spirit stores and all the different Halloween stores and things, so you can still grow up with very similar things. Though the one difference though, back in that day, I remember I was able to wear masks to school for Halloween.
Mhm.
Not every day, but for Halloween time, you could wear a mask to school. It wasn't an issue. You could be scary. Neighbors, would dress up. I remember this one guy. My dad took me took us right by his house, right near us, and he was dressed up as he was a real tall guy. He was dressed up as Frankenstein, and then my dad like, oh, go up to the porch, and you're freaked out, and this guy would get up and he scared the living crap out of you. It was like different, man. You weren't. It wasn't like a time of like, oh, you can't scare the kids. Don't scare them. Don't do that. It was more like, no, my dad set us up for that. So, he'd just stand back and laugh. Kids would just go running out the porch, the sidewalk, freaking out. But that, it's just a different time, man. Can't stress how cool it was to be in that time period and have all that. I don't know. I just cherish that stuff. So, and that's kind of how I am. I like to uh, make these masks every year and just have fun with it. Hence why I really want to start a new mask company this next year and start selling wearable masks. So look out for that at some point. Anyway, yeah, so I grew up with that, a lot of fun, a lot of good times. Um, and sure there's others out there that also grew up in that time period, the same cool stuff. The Ben Cooper Star Wars suits, plastic suits and stuff, which they brought back. They brought I saw those at the store. They brought them back. They look just like they did, man. It's amazing to see. Like, talk about memories. And we've got like these days we still have some of the same companies from back in the day still making masks. I mean, Don Post is gone, unfortunately, but Zagoni Studios, which is a giant mask studio in Chicago, they're still around, and their dad started it as Be Something Studios back in the early days. You know, it's Be Something. Well, it's now Zagoni, the Zagoni brothers, and run the studio, and you know, we still have them around, which is amazing, man. I mean, that's decades and decades of mask making history right there. So
Scott Stevens saying, Casey, I will definitely support your mask company.
Oh, awesome, awesome. Yeah, I appreciate that. Well, this mask I'm sculpting right here will be one of them. This will be one of them. Yeah, I want to do, you know, I want to do masks with hoods, hair, some full masks, you know, a little bit of everything. So, yeah, you know, affordable. I also want to do them made in the US, you know. I don't know that I'm going to do them any other way right now. I mean, I don't know. We'll see, but I don't plan to. I'm trying to figure out a way to make them the production here at not this studio, but here at a studio, you know. I don't know. I got to figure out a lot of stuff. So probably shouldn't even be talking about it right now, but anyway, yeah.
I actually got a quick question relating to hair
Sure.
from, I believe it was Matt Cable. They're wondering if you've got any tips for sculpting hair or even long hair, sculpting it particularly. I don't know about punching hair.
Oh, okay. Well, I mean, you know, I'm not like the greatest when it comes to that. I mean, usually when I'm sculpting hair, it's on like a small little bust or something like that. The best tip I can give you is don't think of it as hair. Think of it more as when you're sculpting and laying it out, blocking it out. Think of it more as form, just form, and try to give it as much character and attitude as possible, like its own thing. And then as you refine those forms, then you can whittle it down. You know, once you have really nice, it's kind of like sculpting clothing. Like once you have really nice forms that you really like and you feel they're flowing and they look nice, then you can whittle that down into smaller, more refined hair-like shapes and stuff. But I always find sculpting hair is it's better to just think of it as big forms that have nice flow and give them attitude, give it attitude and its own thing, and then from there go down into these finer strands of things that break into, you know, what look like hair. But if you go in and you just start sculpting noodle hair everywhere, it just doesn't have shape and form and attitude, and that's where it loses any kind of value, you know, to the piece. It just sort of just looks like a bunch of sort of noise, sculpted noise, rather than like actual hair and whatnot. So the trick to hair is just to sculpt it. And I would, you know, I would study, to be honest with you, I'd study people like Mark Newman. You know, he does a lot of females, so he does a lot of hair. I would study his sculpting, you know, and see how he approaches that. Guys like that, because you can learn a lot from just seeing how they do it.
Mark's been posting some great stuff on his Instagram recently too.
Oh yeah, tremendous stuff. In fact, stuff with hair too. So that would be my advice, you know. And keep in mind, I'm not the best hair sculptor out there, so I'm just telling you what I kind of know from other guys that do it better than I do it, you know. We will be. I think I will be showing a little bit of some hair, not nothing crazy, but I have this little sculpture I need to finish up, and I was gonna have it on the show pretty soon, and it needs little strands of like, I would call it like, you know, they're like these little mutant characters that need some hair, so and other fine little details. So all right, so now I'm just trying to work this ear a bit, although I need to possibly grab a different tool if I have it here. That one. Yeah, not seeing it. Whatever. I'll get by without it. A little nicer than this one, but oh well. I usually use like a round loop tool for ears.
Actually, got a quick question from Becky Bailey. I believe that's how you pronounce it. Becky's wondering, how long has Casey been working on this sculpt already? Any idea of hours? You've done what? It's been this one for the last 3 shows, so that's 6 off the bat.
And I kind of had it like when we started the shows. I kind of had it like
roughed out,
sort of very roughly roughed out, right?
Uh-huh.
But I've mostly sculpted during these shows, so that's 2 hours. Well, not, and I don't fully concentrate on it for the 2 hours. It's like, doing it on a live stream is difficult to stay fully focused on it. So I would, say it's more like an hour and a half of actual sculpting time, maybe, right? I don't know. I don't know. How would you figure that out? So wait, how many have we done? 3, 4 now?
3. This is number 4.
So that's what, like 2, 3, 4.
I would say
6.
at least 8 hours. 8 to 9 hours.
8 hours or so, maybe. I mean, I also had a little time off camera changing stuff on it. So, yeah. I'd say at least maybe, 8 hours or so. Something like that. But here's the difference. If I was sculpting this not on a live stream show, 8 hours, I would have this thing much, much further along than what you guys see, because, talking and just entertaining and focusing on things, it's not the same as if you're just sculpting by yourself with nobody bothering you and nothing being, you get a lot more done. You can get things a lot further along. So that's it's a little bit different. In a way. So I don't know. Can they see this ear I'm working on?
Yeah.
Oh, they can. Okay,
I gotta
good.
push it in right there.
I know that. Just wondering if they can see this all right as I shape out some of this.
Oh, we got Louis Becker joining us one more time.
Rad. What's up, Louis? Old friend of mine. Louis and I worked together at ADI on some films. Louis is a amazing painter. If you guys get a chance to look at his Instagram, you will be blown away by his incredible talent for painting portraits that look like photographs. Pennywise is insane. I like this wood tool I'm using right now because it's got these little teeth. So I can just kind of like mess around with shapes and refine on small level like this. And then it's got this other side that's like a spoon. So it's pretty nice. Don't underestimate, some of your tools can be really powerful if and you wouldn't even know it. You just got to play around with some of your tools and you'll see their uses are sometimes, like I used to think this tool, for example, I used to not think much of it at all. I just was like, I bought it just to have it and then never really used it. And then one day, I think I saw a buddy of mine sculpting with it or something, and it was all about how he was using it that made the difference for me. Like, I was like, oh man, I just never really gave that tool much thought as to being any good. And now here I am, like, I use it on almost every mass sculpture. And I used to think very little of this tool. So, you never know what's in your arsenal, your box of tools. You might have a gem laying in there. have to play around with them a bit and see if you like it or not.
I actually got a question. Do you know of any sculptors who have like a super unorthodox tool in their toolkit? Like somebody who uses like something like a plastic spork or something like that?
Yeah, dude. Actually, you know what? It brings to mind one very specific sculptor friend of mine, who's a super awesome, talented sculptor. This guy, Mikey Rotella. And if a lot of people might be familiar with Mikey Rotella because he was one of the main sculptors on the Distortions, the Distortions History Channel show, Making Monsters. And I've been friends with Mikey for a long time. Mikey starts sculpting with a giant kitchen knife, like a butcher knife that looks like like a Michael Myers thing, like he's gonna stab someone to death. And he'll sit there and cut huge chunks away with the butcher knife thing, and but that's why he loves it, because he can just hack things away like giant pieces of clay, and but it doesn't help that this big, muscular, menacing looking guy that's as gentle as a teddy bear, really, truthfully, but he looks like a big menacing dude that could, basically kick your ass if he wanted to at any given moment. Has a butcher knife in his hand. He's shaved head, tattooed like me, but bigger than me. But Mikey's he's not he's harmless. He's like a big teddy bear, really, at heart. But he's such a cool dude. But anyway, when you first meet him, you see this freaking knife in his hand. That's pretty crazy. It's awesome, actually. And geez, I don't know. I've heard miniature guys using X-Acto blades. I've tried it. It's like, whoa. I couldn't find much use for an X-Acto blade other than cutting your finger.
Yeah.
Definitely cut yourself. There's, I've heard of all kinds of guys using sewing needles and different things. All those kinds of tools I've really never found a use, but it's what you make of it, really, like it's how you find it to be useful, and playing around with the tool and getting used to using it, and makes the difference. So I guess that's all it is. It's like anything can be useful. A cuticle tool can have, like, some of those tools have like little spoon shapes on them, and I mean that can be good. One of the things I found a while back that's really good for sculpting is wood, leather tools. Sorry, not wood, but like a leather tool for burnishing. You can
right, like an awl or something.
Yeah, they have like spoon shapes on the end, and they're really great for sculpting. You can find some really nice ones at like Hobby Lobby. They're great for super sculpting, in particular.
Chad Smith in the chat is saying, I've been looking for a lemon zester for over a year to add to my
Oh,
sculpt kit.
shit, I have that, dude. Here, let me get it. I'll show you what you're talking about. It's a really aggressive sculpting. I bought mine. On. Here, since we're talking.
Casey's grabbing a bunch of tools from his kit right now.
Some weird tool. I also found my ear tool. This is the tool I like to use for ears, this round one. But this is a lemon zester here, and what it is it's got these sharp holes on one side, and you can use it as like a really great, but it really takes the clay down, man. It's you have to be really gentle with it. I mean, but yeah, you can just refine forms with this. But I found this on, I want to say Amazon or something like that. Somewhere. I'll have to figure out where I got this from. Yeah, when the clay gets much harder, even harder than it is now, because it's getting that leathery consistency now, but a little bit firmer, this tool really comes in handy. But it's a pretty aggressive tool, so you have to be. Yeah. But look at these. These are tools I made, that are cool. I actually customized some of these CES tools. I have a few that they gave me. These are cool little detailing. I'll just do a little demo here. They grab, it's all these loops put together that grab. You can do all this cool skin texture. This one's cool because they're kind of bent, like fingers, little fingers.
I was gonna say they almost look like hands.
Yeah, it looks like a little hand. So those are cool. And then this side, there's just one, so you could go in and grab, But that's more like when you get into detail. So those aren't now. Now this is my fun ear tool here. This round shape here. I like it. I like it a lot. But yeah, just use what you gotta use what is comfortable for you, what you like. I got a Bowie song stuck in my head. Ashes to Ashes.
Mm.
Like stuck. I heard it this morning, first thing, and it's been stuck in my head all day.
What is it? They got a message from the Action Man.
Yep.
I'm not happy. Or I'm happy. Hope you're happy too. Yeah.
Yep. I love the ending though. That's my favorite part of that song.
Oh, the ashes to ashes, funk to funky.
Yep.
We know Major Tom's a drunkie.
Uh-oh. We're going to get nailed by YouTube now. Actually, let's talk about music, man. Like, what's everyone's favorite stuff to sculpt to? I'll talk about some of mine. And it depends. With me, I listen to lots of stuff. I'm mostly known as like a metalhead guy, obviously. I like my thrash music. That's what I grew up listening to. Early Metallica, Exodus, Slayer, Iron Maiden, Megadeth, Testament, of course, Testament. Oh my God, Testament. Not Dark Angel. Dark Angel, but no, Death. Come on, I'm gonna keep going. Death Angel. Those guys rule.
King Diamond.
Well, I wasn't a huge King Diamond guy, but my friends are. But yeah, he's cool. I've grown more into digging him as well. Keep going. Carcass.
Children of
Bodom. Lamb of God. Lots of stuff. Anyway, Behemoth. What else? Lots of that stuff. Anyway, you guys get the picture. So, a lot of that. And then I have another side of me that likes stuff like just music, synthwave type stuff like Laserhawk, Tangerine Dream, Survive. By the way, if you guys don't know who Survive is, those are the guys that do the music for Stranger Things. So don't look up their stuff, because their stuff is even better than the Stranger Things stuff, in my opinion. Their original music is so awesome.
Their Stranger Things stuff is like page 1, would you say?
It's just their own stuff is well, first of all, the Stranger Things stuff are snippets of music. Right? Because they're like 30 seconds here and there of the show. But their songs are full-length songs, and very much in the realm of like a more modern Tangerine Dream kind of thing. Yeah, super cool. Not a copy though of Tangerine Dream, just in that synthwave realm,
Got Kirk Durfee here, saying Behemoth, Crowbar, Pantera, John Denver, even you listen to.
Pantera, yes. Cemetery Gates. Demon. Yeah. Good call out, man. Good call out. Yeah, and then I have another side of me that will listen to Prince and um, 80s new wave, um, some rap stuff, old school stuff, old school Ice Cube, old school Dr. Dre, old school
Any Wu-Tang Clan?
Tupac. Not too much Wu-Tang. I never got too heavy into those dudes. They're cool though, but I don't know. I don't know why. You like Wu-Tang?
I'm listening to them more and more.
Okay.
After we did all of the after we did at Sideshow at work, after we started doing all the artist series stuff and the Old Dirty Bastard statue, I started listening to it more and more, and I'm like, oh, I see where a lot of people came from.
Yeah.
Listening to this stuff.
Uh-huh.
And it's like, wow, I recognize this from Grand Theft Auto San Andreas. I love this song whenever it popped on. I had no idea it was Wu-Tang.
Yeah, Old Dirty Bastard. Wu-Tang ain't nothing to... No, I'm not going to say the rest. Anyway, yeah. I mean, I have lots of different musical sides of myself, things I like. It depends on what I'm sculpting, though. If I'm going to sculpt, if I'm in the mood like this, I could totally get into listening to a lot of different thrash stuff, would help drive me further into this sculpture, making it creepier and more sinister and darker and things like that. That music helps. If this were an alien or something more beautiful or some kind of alien creature or something, I'll find myself heading more towards the synthwave type stuff. And I don't know, I just get into those moods where I need certain things, certain types of music, to kind of inspire. Judas Priest. Can't forget the Priest, man. That's a major one. Painkiller, Nightcrawler.
It's funny, I remember going to a Cannibal Corpse show in Santa Anita where...
What? You did?
Yeah.
Santa Anita Mall?
No. Santa Anita, California. I think it was Santa Anita.
Wait.
This was before COVID.
In what? Santa Anita, California.
I think Santa Anita or
not
Santa something.
Not in Arcadia, right?
I don't know if it was Arcadia. I'm trying to remember. Oh, geez.
I grew up right there.
I'm probably getting them mixed up now, but maybe it was because it was out in Pasadena-ish.
That's Arcadia.
Yeah.
Santa Anita, Arcadia.
Yeah.
So I grew up right there, man.
I went to go see a Cannibal Corpse show over there.
Holy shit.
As kind of one of the pre-track builders for the audience to kind of get them hyped up.
Yeah.
They played Painkiller.
Oh
they didn't play it, but they played the track on the loudspeakers over the system.
Oh, okay.
And so it's a whole room. This place was shoulder to shoulder. You were pressed in, couldn't move, kind of thing, just filled with people.
Yeah.
Again, pre-COVID. And yeah, they played Painkiller, and that whole space, you could just feel the wave of people being like, "Oh, this is my shit," and it's like, "Oh no, here we go!" And yeah, people went ballistic. It was so cool,
dude. So I'm friends with the guitarist Richie Faulkner, the new lead guitarist. He's been in the band for a while now. And he, a couple years ago, dude, he was on stage playing that song, ripping those solos, and one of his heart valves burst, and he was bleeding in his chest, and he didn't stop. He finished the song. It's live. You can watch the video. He finishes the song, ripping the song to shreds. I mean, just destroying that song. It's insane. And he's dying on stage, technically. Luckily, there was a hospital a few miles away, and they got him over there, rushed him over there, and he went right into heart surgery and saved him, and then he's fine now. And oh my gosh, talk about insane. And I almost went to that show. I was in Kentucky. I was going to fly out to the show with my daughter. We were going to go see, because there's like all these bands playing, Metallica, Judas Priest, all these. It was one of those big epic shows.
Right.
But yeah, dude. And there's a video you can watch of this, and it's insane. And, I think afterwards he like hands his guitar off and just grabs his chest, and then he's like, he realized, like, like something's wrong.
Right.
But I think his adrenaline that was must have been going on through his body. It was just like,
yeah, like the song ends and he's like, oh, this is still going. Oh, something's
thank
wrong.
God it was the last song.
Yeah.
Because imagine if he stayed on stage to play more, just to, not exactly knowing 100% what's wrong. But
that's crazy.
More power to you, Richie. You badass. You're so awesome. God, man. Guy sticks around. And, like you would put your guitar and run off stage under any circumstance like that. But he just powered through. Insane,
show
man.
Must go on.
Yeah, insane.
I was actually going to say, Andy Neal mentioned that slow doom metal is one of their favorite types of jams.
Slow doom metal.
Kind of funny. I don't know if you know about this, Casey, but did you know that Ventura is actually home to one of the very first doom metal bands in the world?
Really?
Yeah.
What band?
It's a band called Cirith Ungol. It's supposed to be like modeled after the city that Sam and Frodo go to, where Shelob lives.
Yeah.
And yeah, it's a band. Their frontman was Tim Baker. I grew up with his son in middle school and high school.
Whoa.
And yeah, it's like, I always knew like, oh, Matt's dad was a musician. And it slowly became like, oh, Matt's dad was a heavy metal artist. Oh, Matt's dad was the lead frontman for this band called Cirith Ungol. And then when they started doing a comeback tour before COVID, all of their European tour dates and shows like completely sold out. It's like, oh, Cirith Ungol is a big deal.
Yeah.
And then come to find out, it's like, oh yeah, it's because they were one of the first bands that pioneered the sound of doom metal. And it's like, that's nuts.
That's crazy.
That's freaking crazy.
Holy shit, that's crazy. Oops, sorry, my language. There's kids watching. Sorry, parents. Wow, that's cool, man. That's epic. Yeah, very, very cool.
Oh, Louis Becker's actually wanting to know how that last Slayer show was.
Oh my God, so sick, dude. And that I have to shout out to my buddy Gary Holt from Exodus. I know Gary, super cool dude. And actually the guy that Gary got me and some buddies into a backstage Irvine show. That was insane, man. I was just chilling with the guys from Testament on the side of the stage watching the whole show. That was insane. I was sitting right next to Alex Skolnick, just watching Slayer. It was so surreal. It was insane. I grew up as a kid, admiring these guys, Alec and Eric Peterson and Alex and Chuck Billy and all the guys from those bands. So it was very surreal to be just sitting right next to these guys, and like watching Slayer. But then there was the last show they played. A good friend of mine who was one of the main guys at Nuclear Blast Records, he got me into he got me and a few other people into that show, and that was insanely surreal and awesome as well. I mean, it was amazing because we're backstage with tons of famous people, just chilling with all these well-known musicians and actors and people, and just hanging out, and then you could walk right out of backstage and into the very front row and watch all these bands play, Primus and Slayer, and
awesome to see live.
Yeah, they played for them, opened up for Slayer's last show. That was crazy. And then the world went to hell after Slayer quit. What the heck, man? It's all their fault. COVID and everything. After Slayer quit, then the world went to shit. Slayer should never have quit, man. Yeah, amazing. Super amazing show. So that was incredible. That was at the Forum, by the way. Those last two shows. I think it was 2 or 3 shows they did. No, this was the real forum, the
Okay.
actual forum where
Right.
they had the last Slayer shows. I also saw Rush, the last Rush shows there when
Huh.
Rush played. My brother had awesome tickets, and I've seen Rush like up close so many times because of my brother. It's like incredible. We went to some awesome Rush shows.
They
That's another band
actually,
I love is Rush. You know,
yeah, they actually played not too long ago. Geddy Lee and
Alex.
yeah, it was the two of them. They played at the South Park show that they had in
Oh,
Colorado.
with yeah, dude, that was with Primus.
Yep.
Yeah, they did Xanadu, which is insane to see live or hear. That song is anyone that can pull that song off is it's ridiculous.
Yep.
That song is ridiculous.
Crazy too because one of the creators of South Park, I think it was Matt Stone.
Yeah, he was on drums.
He was on drums, and it's like he's the biggest Rush fan in the world, and it's like,
yeah,
wow, I am like this is like one of the first times Rush has played minus Neil Peart, and I'm up here on the drum set. It's like this, and it's even like Primus's drummer is also up there, and it's probably got to be a hyper surreal moment for him too.
yeah. You can watch that whole thing take place on YouTube, man.
Yep.
It's awesome. Yeah, man. Sucks about Neil, dude. It's like, ugh, that was insane when he passed away. Oh my god. You know, that dude is the drummer, man. I don't care what anyone says. That dude was master. He was the master. There's not a drummer out there that doesn't look up to Neil. There's just no way. The guy was just a freaking human octopus. You know.
Personally, I think Gene Hoglan is like
Oh,
I would
yeah,
say it's Neil
Gene.
Peart. Gene Hoglan is number two, and then oh shoot, I am blanking on his name. The original drummer from Slayer.
Oh, Dave Lombardo.
Dave Lombardo, number three.
Yeah, Dave Lombardo. He's in Testament now.
Yep.
So happy that he's in Testament, you know. Found a new home. He was in Suicidal for a while,
Mm-hmm.
which was cool. He was helping them out. I'm glad he got a home with Testament. That just seems fitting, you know. He was with them before, and Gene was amazing with Testament, dude. He really held it down for a long time. I saw so many Testament shows with Gene Hoglan. I ran straight into Gene Hoglan at Comic-Con one year that we were there. This is all pre-COVID. He was just walking down the aisle looking around like at Comic-Con, you know, looked like, and I knew exactly who he was right away, right? And Gene, what's up? He's super cool. He's like, hey man, he's like, super cool dude.
He's a person if I saw I'd be immediately starstruck. He was one of the original drummers for Fear Factory, Strapping Young Lad. He was the drummer for Death. He was the drummer that they picked for Metalocalypse, which was insane. And and then it was Testament, and oh my gosh, crazy seeing his catalog of everywhere he's worked.
Yep. What do they call him? The human
drum machine, I think it is.
Clock or the
human clock.
Something like that. Dude's amazing. Yeah, he just makes drumming look like it's nothing. Danny Carey.
Yep.
You know, and again, a big friend of Neil's and admirer. Him and Neil were like, from what I understand, they were very close friends and shared drum techniques and stuff. Danny Carey, another amazing drummer. Like another human octopus. You know who's a kick-ass drummer? I don't know. I don't want to mess up his name. Hopefully I don't. Eloy Casagrande, something like that. He's from Sepultura, the newest Sepultura. Eloy, that guy's a beast. He's a beast. And how about the Cavalera brother? You know, Igor. Dude, that guy's a beast too. Have you seen these?
Yeah, Eloy Casagrande.
Eloy Casagrande. Dude, that guy. Look that guy up on YouTube, man. Holy cow. Beast of a drummer. Holy moly. I mean, dude, I don't know. That guy might hit drums harder than anyone I've ever seen. It's insane. Of course, he's pretty muscular too. And there's a video where, I forget what song it is. There's a video where they show his feet. His feet are blurry when he double kicks. They go blurry, and his feet are doing this motion. Like, it's insane. but like at hyper speed. It's nuts. He's like looks like he's was born to be an athlete, not a drummer.
He's kicking pedals faster than you can click your tongue.
Oh yeah,
It's like, oh my gosh.
It's ridiculous. Yeah, Lombardo though, dude, he's the man. You gotta hand it to Lombardo. Slayer should never have gotten rid of that guy. Sorry, should not have ever. Big mistake. But Slayer had some awesome drummers, other drummers too. Like I don't want to put those guys down. He had some really good drummers. But dude, Lombardo, can't replace Lombardo.
I do love the story behind Dave Lombardo too. Like he was a pizza delivery driver that they just like put on a drum kit. That was always the story I heard. I don't know if that's true.
Did you ever see the video of him playing with Metallica, filling in for Lars?
Yes. Oh, fuck. What song was it? Was it
Battery?
One? Yeah, Battery. Oh my god, that's my favorite song on Master of Puppets too. Jesus.
It's a whole different ball game, man, with Dave on the kicks.
You can see too, like Hammett and Hetfield.
They're like,
oh shit, like he's going at a pace, like oh my god, let's keep up.
Yeah, it's dude, their faces are classic. They're just like whoa. Yeah. No,
I've seen too. Slipknot's drummer filled in for Lars a couple of times, and he, oh my god, that dude.
Was that the guy that passed away?
He did unfortunately pass
Joey
away. Yeah,
something?
Joey.
Yeah.
But yeah, he also had like this uncanny ability to just keep tempo, and like it made Kirk's solos like super tight, and like you can see like Kirk was like, oh fuck, like yes, I can. Sorry, I shouldn't swear, but like he's like, oh heck yes, like oh I can finally like play within the range of everything. Like I don't have to like use 50% of my brain to keep time for myself. Like not saying Lars can't do that, but it's like Lars just has the way he plays, and then
you know, Lars gets bummed on a lot, and I get it. He's not the most technical drummer, but dude, there is a weird technicality to his drumming. You know, his drumming isn't for naught. I mean, he's not like thought of as one of the greatest drummers and all that. I mean, but dude, you know, the guy's in freaking Metallica, and I think it's just his personality that rubs people the wrong way a lot. But there's a weird technicality to his drumming that I kind of appreciate. You know, you almost can't picture Metallica without him in a way. But
no, yeah, he is their front man. Like everybody points to James Hetfield. It's like no, dude, it's Lars.
Yeah. But you know, I mean, I don't know. The one album I can't deal with though is that Saint Anger.
That
some kind of snare choice was the worst snare
choice
choice I've ever heard in my life.
Have you ever heard the recording of him calling into, I forget what radio station it was. It might have been KRS 101, or it was a local LA, like Southern California station. He called in and he like argued like in favor of it. He's like let me break it down for you. Nobody seems to understand the decisions I've made on this album. Very important.
Oh geez.
Like, and it's like, oh no.
Your bad snare decision.
Yeah.
No, that snare just wrecked that album because all you hear is a bad snare. Bong, yeah, bong. Like you can't. That was not their best. I wish someone could do what they did with Black Sabbath, which was, from what I heard, was when they did their last album, which was like I think Rick Rubin or whoever was on that. Like put those guys in a room, only let them listen to certain key albums that established who they really were, and then go make your album. And I like if I could have Metallica for one day, you know, and like you're making an album with them, which you know never happened, but if it did, I'd just put them in a room with 3 albums: Kill 'Em All, Ride the Lightning, and Master of Puppets. And you cannot, you know, like this is it, guys. Yeah. This is it. This is how your next album's gonna. This is your influence, your old selves. I know they want to grow and become musicians and all that and blah, blah, blah. But you know what? There's just something about those albums, man. You cannot deny those are the best.
It's funny. If you listen to 90s Metallica, it's I feel like what they were trying to do is they were trying to sound like the band Helmet.
Oh.
I don't know. Yeah, I don't know if like anybody really... They were...
Helmet's a rad band.
Yeah. But I feel like that's the sound that they were kind of going for. And makes sense. Like Helmet and that sound, like post Kurt Cobain, that was kind of the sound a lot of hard rockers were going for. But
Yeah. So let's see other bands I like. You guys know? Okay, this is a question for you guys out there. Do you guys know a band named Mother Love Bone? Let's see if they know
I
that
feel like
one.
I've heard a song by them.
Now, Mother Love Bone is really the start of Pearl Jam.
Mm-hmm.
That's that. The two of the guys came, or several guys, like maybe three or two or three guys. I can't remember which, but came from Mother Love Bone into Pearl Jam. The singer of Mother Love Bone died and passed away, and then I forget when Pearl Jam was formed, but you know that's you got Eddie Vedder and all that. Some really that singer though, and that passed away. I mean, it was a really amazing singer and some great music, man. That when you listen to Mother Love Bone, it's you can see the pre Pearl Jam kind of coming. You know, like you can kind of sense like okay, these you can see these are the guys that are gonna become Pearl Jam.
Right. I'm looking it up right now. It says Andrew Wood was
Yes.
the one who passed away.
Yeah.
A heroin overdose apparently.
Yeah.
Very unfortunate.
Unfortunate. Yeah. Lane Staley from Alice in Chains, another just absolute crushing singer.
Mm-hmm.
Dude, Alice in Chains is such a kick-ass band.
I listen to Alice in Chains now. I'm like, if this came out today, I feel like this would start a revival.
Oh my
like,
god, dude!
Like if this were a brand new sound,
Guys,
like
the guitarist, the singer, man, and those two together, holy crap,
yeah.
dude! Jerry Cantrell and Lane together was just a dynamic powerhouse of voices. You know, it's rare that you have a guitarist that can sing and a singer sing as well as each other and just harmonize with each other in a way. It's like super cool. These guys rock. Love Alice in Chains. So good.
I will say I mentioned him earlier. Strapping Young Lad is probably one of like my formative groups. Like I fell in line with like Led Zeppelin, Metallica, all the like classic stuff, but then the one that I kind of found on my own was Strapping Young Lad, and I've yet to find anything that kind of beats that out in terms of just like intensity.
Yeah.
I love Devin Townsend. He's another person if I ever met in real life, I'd be super starstruck. I wouldn't know what to say.
Yeah, man, there's some cool stuff out there. You know what? Let's let's take questions from
Sure.
our friends here that are joining us. Let's try to. I don't want to forget anyone or forget anything here. Let's do some questions.
Sure, yeah. Let us know, guys. If you guys have any questions for Casey right now, just go ahead and leave them in the chat, and we'll ask them as they come in. Yeah. Hope everybody's having a good time. Also, be sure to leave a like on the video and subscribe to the channel if you haven't yet. Yes. Anything helps. It always helps us.
Please do.
I'll go ahead and circle back and see if we got any questions that were asked in the middle of all the band stuff. We got a lot of people making a lot of excellent band recommendations like Clutch, Tool, Motorhead. 50s Little Richard is an interesting one. Handsome Boy Modeling School, Deltron 3030. I think it's 3030. Never heard of Deltron. Steely Dan. Seems to get better as Mr. Halloween gets older. He's liking Steely Dan a lot more.
Nice.
Acid Bath. Dana Carey. Oh, favorite drummer. Dana Carey.
Yeah. There you go.
Terry Bozzio from Frank Zappa. Zapper. Oh, God. I've committed sin.
Zapper.
Terry Bozzio from Frank Zappa was a stellar drummer, says Mr. Halloween.
Mm-hmm.
On the Lighted Stage.
What was that?
Beyond the Lighted Stage.
Oh, yeah, I remember that.
Time Stands Still as two Rush documentaries.
Oh, yeah, amazing. And one of my favorite songs by Rush is Subdivisions.
Mm-hmm.
That's an epic song, man. And Witch Hunt. Those are some of my favorites.
All right, we're starting to get some good questions in now. We got our first one from Andy Neal. Andy is asking, I want to sculpt a mask that will fit my face and line up with my eyes. Any
Okay.
tips I can use other than making a face cast to try to make that happen? You're
You
actually sculpting this one on a wig head, right?
Yeah, yeah. And you don't really need to go as far as making a life cast. You can do that. That's a good way, of course. If you want to save yourself some time and money and effort, you can just use a wig form. They make some male-sized wig forms at you can get at Hobby Lobby or places like that. Um, and what you can do actually, let's say you just don't want to bother with the life cast thing. So get yourself a wig form, and then get yourself one of those tape measures, like for clothing. Those not like a tape measure for woodworking and stuff, but like the clothing kind. They're like soft and bendable, and you can measure your head circumference of your head, and you can measure your width of your eyes, your nose, your mouth, and all those things, and then you can rough out your sculpt and start placing all those things in the correct spot. If you follow what I mean there, and then basically, you can make sure as you sculpt your character that you keep checking measurements and making little micro adjustments, which will help with not only the fit later, but it'll help with making sure you're lining your eyes and your nose and things up in the areas that you really want them to be. Now, the one trick is the shrinkage, and getting the size just right. I would shoot for something that has, measure. Well, first of all, measure your head size, because a lot, not everybody has the same head size, but measure your head size, and on average, I say like from the most standout point, the brow around the whole head, the back of the head. If you measure that, you kind of want something around 27 to 28 inches. 27, 28. If you have a bigger head, maybe 29 inches, and that'll make up for a really nice fitting mask by the time it shrinks. So you would rough out to about 27, 28, 29 inches circumference. Yeah,
right.
like this, from the brow all the way around to the back of the head, like the biggest point. And then just make sure the eyes are roughly placed where your eyes are. If you want to use real eyes, then you want to make sure you have vision above the eyes, the fake eyes. Then you can move them slightly down below your eyes so that your eyes really land in the ditches here, up in the crevice. So you can, that's an old Death Studios trick. You can move the eyes slightly down if you want to and cheat it, and then move the nose down and the mouth down a little bit and the ears, and then everything will be just slightly lower than, that's another trick you can do. But so yeah, I mean that's my advice for that. Pretty simple. I'm just sorry guys, I was gonna mess with the teeth. I know I said that, but I'm like, again, I get caught up in going around all over the place and trying to find what I want to clean up and work on. I'm just mindlessly getting in the zone here as we talk music and whatnot. Hopefully we haven't bored everybody to death with music. Seems like that was a good subject.
No, that was an excellent subject. A
Yeah,
lot of people talking passionately about stuff. There's Chris Dawson actually just mentioned Rick Vito did an interview with Kim Thale, I want to say, and Chris Novoselic on his YouTube channel. And they talked about Mother Love Bone. They actually also mentioned
rad
about how Chris Cornell was starting out on drums while they were looking for a singer.
Oh, I didn't know that. That's awesome. That's interesting. Very cool.
And then our next question actually comes from Magneto Creations. Magneto is wondering, when you're working from your own reference, like the drawing that we're seeing, how do you know that it's time for a drastic change, like the nose?
Well, so if you guys remember the drawing before this one that I shared, it was good with the nose, but then the more I looked at it, the less scary as I sculpted it, the less scary it became, right? And then I realized, like, oh, it's not really creepy and scary enough from what I'm trying to perceive with this thing. I tried to stick to more of a human thing and less zombie, but I just realized it wasn't good. So, I went into Photoshop, which is nice and fast and quick, and took the nose off and just drew a skull nose just quickly, just nothing. And you can see my drawing there. That's as far as I ever really go. You don't need to be the best illustrator in the world or anything. You just need enough to convey the idea. to yourself. And but try, I can't stress enough, try things, like I move the teeth around and the nose and until I landed on something that, kind of creeped me out a little bit more, and then so like that piece there, that's once I took the nose away, it just made all the difference in the world, I thought. So I was like, okay, let me go into the sculpture and do that and see how it works. And you won't know 100% because sometimes what works in a drawing doesn't always translate in sculpture 3D. So it can be a little tricky. You just have to try it and see. There's a trick too that you can do. You'll see a lot of professional sculptors do this. They'll kind of they'll pull their head back from the sculpture and squint their eyes. And when you squint your eyes, what'll happen is the things that really stand out will stick out, and the things that don't stand out won't stick out. And then you'll know where your weak spots are, because like when you squint your eyes, it almost causes like a focus, like a blurry focus, almost like through a camera lens or something. And basically, then you're looking, what you're looking for is for things that aren't popping in the clay, like not just details but forms. And then you can go in and strengthen those things a little bit, and then squint your eyes again and see if it helped. And if now that form stands out to you, or that shape or whatever it is you're looking at, you've strengthened that a bit, So that's a very helpful trick. So yeah, kind of like pull your head back a little step back a minute from your sculpture and squint your eyes, and you can look at it from different angles, and then you can kind of see what's working and what's not working.
It's interesting. That's almost like how painters kind of do it.
Yeah. Very similar. A lot of artists will do that kind of a focus thing where they can then see what's weak. Sculpture, it's great because you're trying to get certain things to read a certain way.
Our next question comes from Kevin Young. Kevin's wondering, how do you handle sculpting veins? Do you use a similar or a certain kind of pattern to sculpt veins?
I don't use a pattern per se. I just go by feel. But that's a good question. Let's say let me wet some of this clay here for a sec. Or let me just grab some fresh clay. So for veins, typically what I do, now some veins, if I want them really fine, I'll extrude them through a clay extruder. But I'll just do a rough demo here real quickly. Let's just say we want, vein here. Now you could draw it out if you want, you could kind of like, if you don't like it, erase it like that, So you could, if that's easier for you guys, you can just kind of like, okay, I want the vein, going like this. One secret I'll share with you is wherever the vein is going to end, kind of give it a little wiggle, give it as much attitude. Don't just lay a line on there, like don't just do this, So try to give it its own, like everything you do in your clay, try to give it its own life and attitude. But let's say, this is the vein, say we're doing one here on the side of the head. Typically I'll extrude this out or something, and then I'll just move it around until I'm kind of happy with it, this is just going to be quick and crude, like a quick demo. And then you sometimes you can push it down in a little bit, but a lot of times I'll just go in and blend it like this, with a tool. Kind of blend the edges each side. And you can even, at this point, you don't have to stick to this. You can easily go in and reshape things too. You can push this around and tweak it to make it thinner. So this is a nice way to do a vein, and you can kind of keep adjusting the shapes, the shape of it, the way it travels or whatever. Anyway, once I get the vein on there and I'm happy with it, let's just say okay, I'm happy with that. This is nothing special. I'll kind of push it in a little more just to blend it again. Just to kind of soften it, not blend it, not blending it yet, but just to soften it down around it. Then one of the big tricks I'll use is I'll use a sponge like this and just massage it down a bit more like this. You can also use tools like this. This is a bit aggressive, but you can use these finger tools to kind of blend it. But like I said, it's a bit aggressive, so really this is better. So just blend it like this. Just gently rub the vein in like that. You can even kind of flick it back and forth to get the vein to stand back up a little bit. Like that. It starts to blend. You'll see it starts to blend in really nice. And this is just a makeup sponge, stipple sponge. You can get these at makeup effects supply places, stuff, LA and wherever. Anyway, once you get there, then you can kind of use one of these softer sponges and then blend it in even further. Like so. Now this is, I do this after I have all this head cleaned up though, So just keep in mind I'm just doing a quick demo here. And then I'll give it one more patting like this, And by then it's pretty blended in. Blend the veins in really, really good though. Make sure they're in there, like under the skin. You don't want them sticking up on the skin real crazy where it looks ridiculous. Unless it's intentional, like some old 50s movie style veining or something crazy, That's different.
Or it's something that's like really screaming and
like
flexing.
like Noah was doing that on purpose. He was doing like a big fat scanner's vein. That's intentional, and it's just that looks right for that mask. But like if you want your vein, to be natural, then blend it way in, So it just barely stands up like that. Looks like it's underneath the skin rather than sitting on top. Don't let it sit on top because it'll look so phony. And then when you paint it, it looks ridiculous. So that's kind of how I do veins. That is exactly how I do veins. So hopefully that helps.
Excellent. Our next question comes from Chad Smith. Chad is wondering, how long did it take you before you were able to sculpt without reference?
I guess it depends because even in my early days, sometimes I wouldn't use a lot of reference. And I only use reference when needed, like maybe if I'm doing some specific human anatomy, and I need it to look convincing or look correct or something like that, then I'll pull out that reference. Monster stuff, I try to just kind of find the design and then go for it. Occasionally I'll pull something out if it, like, again, if it's maybe something on a human face that I know my sculpture isn't looking quite right, or because I'm stylizing something too much, so then I'll pull out reference of that specific thing, whether it's jawline or eyebrows or something like that. But yeah, I try when I do these types of things, these kind of monsters, I call like a lot of the effects guys, we call these kind of like boogity monsters, like boogeyman monster kind of things. I'll just try to go for a vibe rather than super refined realism. But yeah, just reference is good though. I mean, don't don't avoid it. I mean, if you need to use it, use it. It's super helpful. You can't beat the real thing, obviously.
See, we got some more questions coming in right now that I'm seeing. See, we got our next one from Mr. Halloween. Mr. Halloween is wondering, do you use a mix of water and alcohol for your wet clay when you're spraying it down when softening textures? Or is it just water?
Just water. I've never really used alcohol too much with wed. Just water. But I use sparingly, you know. I don't use a lot of water. It's very sparing amount of water. Try not to. So I never soak the sculpture, as you guys have noticed. I'll just lightly mist it. Even before bagging it, I'll just lightly mist it. I do prefer some wet clay sculptors. You know, they like to keep the clay fairly soft, or I actually prefer the clay to get really hard, pretty hard, and leathery, where it almost doesn't take your fingerprint. You know, I like it to get pretty firm to finish everything off. Everybody's a little bit different. You know, some guys will keep it softer, and yeah, it just depends on what you like. You know. Yeah, just water.
Our next question comes from My Masks and Horror Collectibles. They're wondering, what does Casey think of Corey Taylor from Slipknot's new mask? I think Connor DeLess sculpted it. That's what I heard, at least, according to them. I haven't actually seen it.
I know my son loves it. My son's a big Slipknot fan. He loves it. I've seen it. I think I know which one they're talking about. Yeah, it's cool. The Slipknot masks are super. They're cool. They're not my cup of tea, for masks. Honestly, like they're not like the type of masks I love, but personally, but yeah, they're not bad, I guess. I mean, they're not like the most amazing masks in the world or anything, though. They're, I guess, that their purpose for those masks is to have a certain type of stage presence, gas mask style, clowns and things like that. But I don't know how to answer that really, because like they're very just stylized to that band, to what that band is.
Mm-hmm.
But it's like, for me, I'm not a huge fan of, like, band masks and stuff like that too much. I mean, I'm more, when it comes to masks, I really love just, traditional latex monster masks. But no, I mean, cool, I don't know.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know how to answer that.
Mm-hmm.
Pretty cool. I'm actually going to take my son to see Slipknot. So.
Oh yeah, where they're playing?
They're
playing
playing in
soon,
Irvine.
right?
Yeah, they're playing in Irvine at the 4 Points Amphitheater in October. So
That'd be a crazy show.
Take my son, and it'll be his first concert. Go check him out, man.
See, our next question is coming from Mark EFX. They're wondering, on average, how much shrinkage? 20%? That's having to do with masks, no other kinds of shrinkage.
Yeah. Yeah, 20 to 15%. I find 20 is a bit exaggerated, I think, in some. Well, it depends too. Like, are you hair drying your mask? Are you letting it naturally dry in the mold? Because the more heat that it has, the more shrinkage, and the thicker you make the mask, the more shrinkage it can have. But I like masks to be thick. I like to do the masks on the thicker side. I don't like thin masks, like only for like the only time I like thinner masks is for wearable stuff, like production, like Halloween production type masks. Those you don't want those to be like ultra thick. But I think they should be a nice thickness still, like not super. They shouldn't be super thin. I hate a production mask that's super thin. That I can't stand either. Where it's like paper thin, because that thing isn't gonna last. So I do like it when the mask has a little, a decent thickness to it. But yeah, like 15% I would say is the average. 20 is the max, depending.
Mhm.
Yeah, you should at least account for 15%. So if you measure your head and you're doing a mask, then make your clay 15% larger, 15 to 20% larger than your actual head. And then when that mask shrinks, it'll be a really good fit.
We got Unknown Origin FX with our next question. They're wondering, I have an insane sketch of two faces merged together, making three different personalities. So one on one, and then one in the center. Any tips on making that pulled and contorted skin look, and any colors for making it look a little more realistic? That's a heavy question.
Is there
Whew.
a picture of this or
No,
something?
no.
He wants to know
Basically how you would take two heads and smash them together, and that's a lot.
how to smash them together.
Mm.
Kind of like The Thing.
Yeah, a little bit.
Um,
He's essentially wanting three different things. It's like
three different heads, or
like
two different heads.
it's two different heads put together, but that's like the first head is on one side, the second head is on the other, and the center is like both of them merged together in a new kind of theme.
Oh, I get you.
Yeah.
I get you. So yeah, they're not really separate heads. They're merged in the middle.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, just you need to have things that look like natural skin folds and flesh kind of pulling and stretching and merging, and again, that's one of those things where like you got to just give it attitude, like give it realism, but also like its own attitude, like a sense of movement, pull and weight and structure and compression. Make sure that the wrinkles have this compression to them, because that will sell the reality more than anything. And give each face its own character. Don't do the same thing with each face. I try to give them their own character in life. So if one side is doing something, make the other side do something different. Don't let them be the same, because that'll make the sculpture feel a little bit boring and uninteresting if they're not very differently expressive. Like one can be in pain and agony, and the other one can be in shock, or give them totally different expressions. And if you're not familiar with those expressions, that's when you can look up, anatomy reference of those types of expressions people make, and use that as reference when you're doing those faces.
I would think too that'd be a good excuse to like kind of experiment with like, at least in the merging phase, it's like what would their teeth be doing? Like would one like
Yeah.
would the gums be like blood red, but the teeth are like shiny and pearly white, or would like the gums be perfect and like nice and pink, but the teeth are just like disgusting and just yellowed or blackened?
Yeah, or are the, is it grinding its teeth? Is it clinching? Is one mouth open, one mouth closed? Is it is the jaw offset? Like crooked and pulling, because it's being pulled this way between the two. So is there another eye growing in the middle of all of them? So there's three eyes. I don't know. All kinds of different things you can do there that are fun. As far as painting it though, because I think he asked a painting question.
Yeah.
Yeah, realistic skin, like with very creepy layers of veins and subtle, very subtle under veins and creepy top layer veins and modeling. You know, look at real skin and try to mimic real skin. And because the more when you do something like that, the more realistic you go with the skin paint job, the more realistic. Even if the sculpture isn't 1,000% realistic, the more realistic the sculpture is going to feel for when it with the paint. The paint, just keep in mind, painting is half of that design. You know,
Mm-hmm.
so
Mm-hmm.
it's a big deal. It's a big deal. Don't let the painting suffer or be weak. The painting should be just as strong as the sculpture.
Yeah, just as strong as just as thought out about.
Hmm.
Unknown saying that they'll share a sketch of their idea on the Facebook group if that's cool.
Oh
I'd
yeah,
say
yeah, yeah,
heck yes.
yeah, for
I'm curious
sure.
to see.
Why not? For sure, do it. And yeah, like I said, yeah, study how real skin, and you can look up weird skin diseases and things and get reference from that too if you want to add some creepy, gross stuff. You know, give it pimples and acne and uh, you know just all the real stuff that you see in human skin. Give it that.
Hmm.
You know, and the interesting thing is with the two heads together, you know, the jawbone, you can always, if it's being pulled or a cheekbone is being pulled, the skin, you can give it that kind of white yellow look that where the blood rushes out because of the compression.
Mm-hmm.
That's always interesting, like how your knuckles turn white when you compress. You know, your knuckles go from red to like a yellow white. That you can do that in painting, and that will help sell those things because people identify with seeing those things in real life. So then it's in when it's in your piece, it just makes the piece feel that much more realistic. Too often I see the paint job just get kind of uh, thrown in there in a way, you know, where it's it's not interesting enough, or paint jobs are too busy or whatever, you know. Just it's good to make sure that the paint job is working just as well as the sculpture to help drive the whole design um, to more realistic and more interesting overall.
Definitely, I agree.
And
Let's
watch
see.
with paint jobs too. Watch that the colors aren't muddy or getting muddy. You know, and don't rely just on browns and stuff like that. You know, see that a lot. People just overdo it with the brown stuff. You know, like,
See, going through. Looks like our next question. Oh, Matt Cable actually has a really quick question.
okay.
Matt Cable's wanting to know, could you ask Casey about the tool maker who did the small hardwood tools he used on the Batman sculpture, like the very first episodes of the show?
Oh, Walter. Yeah, Walter from Perfect Touch Tools.
Yep.
It's called Perfect Touch Tools. Look up Perfect Touch. I think he's still around. Walter. Yeah, they're beautiful. They're these tiny little wood tools. They're great. You can use them in wet clay too, actually. Yeah, Walter. Perfect Touch.
I'll look it up right now and see if I can. There we go.
Yeah.
Perfect touch. Hope this is the right website. Yeah, this looks like it. There we go. I linked it for everybody in the chat right there. Let's see. Matt Cable's question. Rich Weant, I believe that's how that's pronounced. They're wondering when sculpting a mask with unrealistic or exaggerated anatomy, how do you keep it looking real and not made up?
Say it one more time. Sorry. I was
That's
in
all
a
right.
zone here.
When sculpting a mask with unrealistic or exaggerated anatomy, how
Okay.
do you keep it looking real and not made up?
By okay, by pulling back I know you're wanting to exaggerate forms in an unnatural way, but funny enough, you can do that. You can first exaggerate things, but then you got to pull it back. And what I mean by pull it back is you got to soften things, because what makes human faces and things look real is they're soft. The features are soft, you know. So like these cheekbones on this are exaggerated. Why? Because I have these eyes here, so they're extremely pushed out. But by softening them and giving them some interesting forms, like subtle forms, and making them soft, the more realistic they'll become, and they'll blend in with the design and work just fine. You know, like the more I soften them and make them look like they fit in, you know. So that's how you achieve that with that kind of effect, you know. Just soften. You can have the forms exaggerated, but then if you don't soften them, they're not going to look believable. They're not going to look like they fit in with it. It's going to look like some crazy thing that just doesn't work. So by softening, you can get it to blend in and look right. It still will have the impact that it needs. It just will be softer. So just learn to like tone it down. Once you exaggerate it, you know, I say you should exaggerate the forms to begin with anyway, and then soften it down. There's nothing wrong with that. That's like a perfect way to go about it.
A lot of really great questions tonight. A lot of people. Oh yeah, my mental factory is actually pointing out when you mentioned the squinting and looking to find features, like which ones stick out. My mental factory noticed that Noah was actually doing a lot of that during Friday's stream as well.
Yes.
A lot of squinting and turning and checking to make sure things like were even or.
Yes. Yes. That's a common practice in special effects sculptors, you know. You'll see a lot of guys doing that because, like I said, that out of focus view helps tell you what's strong and not strong in the sculpture. You know, like what stands out and what's not standing out and working. Because you'll see it. You'll just look in an area and you'll see it doesn't. It's not sticking out to your eye. You know, whereas when you're looking at it normally, you're not seeing that because you're not focusing that way. So you're everything is in focus and in view, so you're not seeing it. It's right in front of you, but you're not picking up on it. So when you pull your head back and squint, the deeps and all the things will stand out. And then you see areas that don't stand out and you go, oh, okay, if I deepen that, if I make these wrinkles just a little deeper, okay, cool. Now it stands out. You know, you can go in with a sharper tool and, okay, I'll deepen these wrinkles, or I'll give the brows more interest. You know, I'll make this wrinkle deeper so it stands. Now when I squint, oh, I see that now. You know, it's that kind of thing. You want to spend some time doing that because it will really help. Yeah, Noah was doing that. My actually, funny enough, we were watching the episode again, and my wife said, "What? Why is Noah? She goes, does Noah need glasses?" I said, "Why? No, why?" And she goes, "He keeps squinting." And I go, "Oh no, it's because he's doing this.
It's a thing.
It's a technique he's doing." Yeah, it was funny. He thought he needed glasses.
Another question here from Mr. Halloween. They're wondering, how hard will you let the clay get before it's time to mold it, do you think?
It can get pretty hard. I've let wet clay get pretty firm before. But not too firm. I mean, you don't want the clay to be hard as a rock or anything like that, you know. But it's got to firm up to get good detail in it, you know, like so you can get good detail. So it's got to get fairly firm to where like we'll just barely accept your fingerprint. That's where I like it to be. So if you push your finger into it and you see a fingerprint right away or it makes a dent, it's a little soft. But when it gets to the point where like right now it's almost there already, where I can't really push I'd have to really push to push in. That's a good stage. In fact, I probably need to mist this down, and you'll see right now all I do is give it like a little misting like this. I don't like to soak it too much because then you can't keep going with your, you know, if you get it it'll get muddy. So just give it a little bit, and then I'll let it soak that up. And once it soaks that up, then I'll move on. I'll keep going because it'll absorb it quickly. You can see how I've gotten this ear in. I didn't really get to this ear yet. What time are we at?
We are at 7:45.
Okay, we got a little time. I'm gonna focus on the teeth. I've also focused on around these bags and starting to get them to come to life. You know, you can see how I'm doing all that.
Actually, Becky Bailey had a question about those earlier. She was wondering what the golf balls in the cheeks were about.
Oh, those are eyes.
Yeah.
They're a second set of weird demonic eyes that have emerged through, but they're kind of like they're very squinted, you know, like very squinted eyes. So like you'll just catch a glimpse of the pupils. This one a little more than this one. This one will almost be closed, like the pupil will just be right here, and this one will have a little more pupil here. And then you've got his other eyes here. So it's like an extra set of weird, freaky, demonic eyes. It's a weird place to put eyes for sure, I'll tell you that. But when I drew the drawing, it just, I threw them in there just to see like if it would work, and I ended up liking it. I didn't think I would. I was like, this is probably not going to work, but I'll try it. And then I was like, actually, kind of like it. So then I stuck with it. Now it's getting it to work, and the sculpture was tricky. The drawing was easy. It took two seconds to get them in there, but then when I got to the sculpting part, it was like, oh my god, this is trickier than it was on paper. I don't know. I wasn't sure it was going to work or not, but I'm liking it. It's working. I think once it's painted too, this is one of those things, like once it's painted, it'll work better than the sculpture, because I'll be able to really do a bit with settling down and getting the right look with the paint.
Funny you mentioned painting. Creative Critter was actually wondering if you're planning on painting this sculpt on the show.
I hadn't thought about it. Now this thing, you know, I probably will do a high-end version for myself, but when it comes to like selling wearable versions of this, the paint job would be very simple, you know, because it'll be meant to be like affordable, like an affordable wearable mask. So the paint job won't be as crazy on that as it would be, you know, on like a personal copy that I make for myself for Halloween. You know, I'll do like a realistic skin. Probably a dark skin too. Probably something darker, I think, maybe like gray or, you know, creepy, like rotted, or I don't know, or maybe flesh. I don't know, something, or ghostly. I'm not sure yet. I have to really figure that out once I get the piece in latex.
Unknown Origin actually has another question about this one's about skin texturing technique. They're wondering what's your go-to for natural skin texturing?
Um,
I'm assuming that's just a lot of like raking and what is it? Using that one little fingertip tool to kind of like steeple in.
Yeah, I'll do some of that. I do like layer. Basically, I'll do layers. Like I'll do I can, you know, sometimes I'll even just use I'll use a texture stamp. But I'll in combination though. I'll do it in combination with different things. So it could be the first one. I'll rub this all down once with this. Once I'm happy with the head shape, you know, I'll rub this all down with water and a sponge, clean it up, and then I'll use this sponge to go in and do more and maybe stipple. And then from there, that's not it. I'll come back and I might stipple in some of these, you know, these guys like this kind of thing with this tool. And then I'll soften that, and then I'll put some veins in and do more, and then I might do a texture stamp. You know, this is an easy one, but that's not the. But I'll do combinations of things too, to get to the final texture of what the skin is. You know, you can always go in and do, you know, wrinkles and cross hatches and things like this too if you want that kind of skin texture. But just a bunch of combinations of things that work well together. You know, usually it's starts with the sponge and then it graduates into the this stippling finger tool, and then it'll go into texture stamps, and then it'll go into hand done stuff. So I'll do a combination of things, because also depending on where you are on the head or the face, it'll change. You know, I mean, I might even put in skin pores or something in certain areas or whatever. One thing about like the mask line I want to do with the I want the mask to be sculpted very well. You know, I don't want the mask, even though the paint jobs are going to be simplistic but effective. That's really what I'm going to go for. I simple but effective, but I want the sculpts to be strong. You know, I don't want just some cranked out piece of garbage mask. You know, I want the mask to have a quality level to them that the sculpts have, and then can be driven with like some decent halfway decent paint. You know, that when you buy one, you know it's a good quality piece. Something that you could put up on a display, but also wear it. I guess that's the goal.
Hmm. Matt McNeil is actually wondering if you're going to paint the cheek eyes human or something else.
Paint the what's that?
The cheek eyes, the ones that are popping out.
Oh yeah, they're eyes, so they're gonna be. You're just gonna get a glimpse though. Like this one, you'll just get a barely a glimpse of that iris and that pupil, and this one you'll get a little more, and then these eyes will be the main ones. These are just kind of like demonic, extra weird little eyes in there. Weird. The hell was I thinking? No.
You were thinking Boogeyman.
Yeah, you know,
Yeah.
every year I that's what I try to do is like a new version of a boogeyman, some new take on that theme. That's my favorite, one of my favorite themes, other than like Cyclopses. I've done a variety of different weird Cyclops creatures over the years. That's one of my favorites as well. That's like my favorite fantasy theme is a Cyclops. Um, or monster. It could be monster too, monstrous Cyclops. So boogity men and cyclopses and aliens and weird stuff.
It looks like we got one last question from Andy Neal. Andy's wondering, I noticed you jump around to different areas of the sculpt, an eyelid, then a tooth, then an ear fold. Is that your natural process, or have you disciplined yourself so that you don't focus on just one part?
I'm not impatient. I get bored. I get bored really quick with an area. So I have to jump around. It's not a it's almost not a good habit. I have to fight with it a lot because um yeah, I'm like I feel like sometimes I'm like a multitask type sculptor. I just have to jump around all over the place. I'm the same way with painting and stuff. Like I have to, if I really want to finish an area off, I have to really hyper focus on that. It takes a lot of effort.
Mm.
So like my brain just wants to jump around everywhere. Or and sometimes it's just what I'm seeing, you know, if I see something and I don't like it, I'm changing it right away. And ultimately, oddly enough, everything starts to come into tune, you know, get fine tuned, you know. So um you know, like I started the night off saying I'm gonna work on these teeth for you guys, and I didn't work on them at all. It's just my weird uh, way I work. Yeah. Hopefully, I didn't drive everybody nuts. Guy's just jumping around everywhere. No. Yeah, I lose focus and just have to do that, I guess. I don't know.
I think I'm able to keep up with the camera pretty well.
You're like, damn it, stay in one spot, man. I can't. Sorry.
No, it's okay. I have had that thought of like, should I ask him to focus on one thing? And I'm like, I'm not gonna interrupt. Nope.
I'll probably say, oh yeah, sure, and then like 5 minutes later, I'm off to some other area.
Yeah, that too.
Yeah, I know. I got a weird way of sculpting.
Oh, you know what? We have a question from Mad Makes too. They're wondering if the giveaways are gonna happen tonight or if that's gonna happen later on.
You know what I was thinking about tonight, but we need to do that thing again. What was that thing we
The
used?
spin wheel.
Yes, yeah. yes. So let's do it.
I'll look into getting something like that we can actually plug into the live stream too for people to actually see, because that seemed to work really well.
Yeah, and let's try to do it next Monday. Yeah. We'll fit it in next Monday for you guys. So, tonight I wanted to get more information about it. I'd have to take some time and think about how this is going to work, and then I wanted to come up with what the 3 giveaways were for the people that are going to win the contest,
Mm-hmm.
But we do want people to just remember, we do want people that are interested in painting the pieces. We don't want someone to get the piece and then they're like, oh, I didn't want to paint it. That ain't gonna fly, man. You gotta paint it. You gotta want to paint it.
Yeah, we're operating on the honor code.
Yeah, honor code. We're gonna hold you to the honor code. So, but I'm sure we can get 10 guys that want to do it. So. I'll just focus for a few minutes on these teeth, and then we'll call it a night. Yeah, we're almost at the end of the stream here. God, the time flies, huh, guys?
Yep.
2 hours just goes
like
by.
I looked at the clock and it's 7:10. I'm like, oh, we got plenty of time. Now I look at it, it's like, what happened all that time?
Yeah, crazy, right? Just goes by so quick. And as much as we would love to do longer streams, it's tricky. I got family, so I can't be on here all night. And Sam's got a girlfriend, and we got lives and things we got to do and take care of. And so, we'd love to stay on for hours on end. I would, but we got things we got to take care of and do and responsibilities, so gotta keep these to 2 hours as much as possible. But I've tried to show you guys as much as I could with my sculpting process, and really I know everybody gets into the detail and all that good stuff. That's really not the important part anyway of the sculpting. It's not the best part of sculpture. Like, you want to spend a lot of time making sure the forms underneath and everything are the way you want. So, all these things here that I've been doing are the more important parts of it all.
I'm wondering too if the face, like right there on the bit near the nose, if that would like trigger people's tryphobia. It's like holes or something. Like if you were to fill those in with like pus granules or something like that. Like,
yeah. Freak people out. Some of these teeth I might have to make separate. I don't know. I don't want to, but I might have to. Because that just makes more production work, which these masks need to be production friendly. So that's a tricky part that I'm going to have to figure out. What we can do, obviously, is once I finish this mask, which will be fairly soon, we can share it with you guys and talk about what was done. to finish the sculpting, you know, like where I went with it, what I, how far I took it, and all that, you know, all that kind of stuff. So we'll come back and share that as well. You guys can get a look at the final thing. Teeth, I'll spend a lot of time. Make sure you know, spend a lot of time giving the teeth. And these are very rough still. So if you guys see, you know, seeing these right now, these are not anywhere near finished. Not even close. In fact, there's a whole nother weird set of little teeth under these teeth. Like these teeth are a roof to under these, and then there's this set jutting out, and there's one sharp one here, and there's a big one here, and a big one here, and there's all this like motion I want to get to the teeth happening. So I gotta really spend some time to get the teeth to work how I envision them to be. So yeah, I'm gonna spend a lot of time in this mouth area, cleaning up and pushing and pulling and getting it to look right by the time it's all said and done. And then this here is like part of a leftover upper lip. All these bumpy, weird texture thing going on here. Gotta sort of carve some weird lip stuff in here, maybe.
Matt McNeil is saying it's almost like twins superimposed on one another with the 2 times the eyes and 2 times the teeth.
Yeah. Got a weird look to it for sure. What's Matt McNeil working on these days? What's he sculpting?
I don't know. Matt, what are you working on? Let us know.
Working on another Fright Night guy or what? What's next for Matt?
I think he'll let us know in just a second. He's got a little bit of a delay.
Inquiring monster minds want to know. What's next for Matt?
Matt is still punching hair, he says.
Oh God, dude, aren't you dying from that yet? Jesus, dude, man, he's a machine, the beast. All those.
Oh, he's working on his last 3 copies, he says.
Wow, of the wolf. Must be of the wolf.
Oh, geez, a wolf?
Well, it's the Fright Night wolf from Fright Night.
Okay.
Yeah, the kid that transforms after he gets stabbed in the chest. He tries to attack Peter Vincent. I love the sound that wolf makes in that scene. It's so freaking creepy. It's like this weird, like, whiny thing, like creepy whine that it does. Great. Nothing better than transformation wolves. That wolf doesn't get enough respect either. Like, it's all Howling and American Werewolf. Those are the best, but that wolf that Steve Johnson did is killer. It was a kick-ass thing, man. That transformation was awesome. And it was all backwards. So he's like transforming back to a human instead of the other way around. So rad. I love it. One of my favorites. Okay, last question for you guys that are still with us. Favorite werewolf transformation? Fright Night, Howling, or American Werewolf in London? And go.
Hugh Jackman in Van Helsing.
Yeah.
Not joking.
Yeah, what? Stream over. No. And no American Werewolf in Paris either, whatever the hell that was. Garbage. What's everybody saying?
The American Werewolf in London, the classic. Yep.
Yeah.
Seems like it's pretty universal. It's American Werewolf in London.
Yeah. That doesn't surprise me at all. It is.
Yeah, that's 4 for AWIL.
Yep. American Werewolf. Rick Baker, man. Rick Baker, Monster Maker. Rick Baker, Master Monster Maker.
Yeah. Anything else is just a faker. Oh,
snap. Yeah, I gotta agree with them. But I love Howling. I love Fright Night. Love all those. I love them all. You know, they're all good in their own way. They're just all good. But yeah, the one that stands out is Rick's. I think the best. That Demon Wolf is just freaky, man. It's the best.
Oh, there's some folks saying Company of Wolves.
Oh, really?
Yeah, for wolf transformations.
Well, that was very different and interesting. It came out of the mouth. Like the whole snout came out of the mouth. Yeah, that's a cool one too. That should probably be in there. But like, I don't think it was as great and as impactful as American Werewolf or The Howling. You know, I don't see it like up there with those. And even Fright Night. The Fright Night transformation was very good. Very interesting.
When I think of Wolfman transformations, I just think of him looking at the hand and it's just like elongated, like that's like burned into my head.
Yeah. Like everything they did on that was crazy cool, you know. How the hair grows and shooting it in reverse and all that tricks they use, so awesome. My favorite is the heel growing.
Yeah,
you know, the heel just elongates. That was even freakier than the hand to me, because it's just like, oh god, you can sense the pain of that. Like your whole Achilles tendon just stretching,
and snapping.
Oh god. And he's screaming, like he's like, oh god, oh, you know, he's like freaking out. Anyway, all right, I could noodle all night, guys. It's 8:10, so we're gonna start wrapping it up here and saying goodbye. I know it sucks, Monday nights. Back to the regular scheduled program in your lives, but I want to thank you all for joining. We really appreciate you guys hanging with us tonight. Also, dude, if you guys have suggestions for streams you want to see, we're all ears. You know, throw out some suggestions if you want. You know, it doesn't always have to be what we come up with. We can. I've had some of our best streams actually. A friend suggested to me, one of our best streams. So, and that was awesome. So, we're always open to that, and so throw out some ideas. We'll see if we can get those for you. You know, please remember to like and subscribe the channel. That's such a big help for us.
Super helpful.
Super helpful. It's what's going to keep us going with YouTube. And yeah, that's about it. I hope you have a great rest of your week. And you know, if you're working on any cool monster art or whatever, I hope that it turns out great and you're having a blast. We'll be back next Monday at our regular scheduled time. And
we will be here too, despite the Labor Day holiday.
Oh, yeah. Oh, what was the thing? Everybody wants us to do it?
Yeah.
Good.
A lot of people that start were like, yes.
Okay,
sure,
great. So we will do a Labor Day show next Monday. We'll do it. And actually, you know, we could start that show a little earlier. a tad bit earlier and do a little longer show if people want. That'd be cool.
Hmm.
I don't know, just an idea. So yeah, guys, and then we'll actually, you know what? Since it is Labor Day, that might be a really good time to start picking the winners for the giveaway.
Yep.
We can get that all set up. And that's about it, guys. That'll do it for us tonight. Please like and subscribe. I know I keep saying that. Sorry, got to. And oh, something I forgot to mention. I do have a upcoming class for those of you looking for an in-person class to learn how to paint latex masks. I have a class coming in October. October 22nd is the class. And we'll be painting. Let me actually give me a second.
Sure.
So there's the mask that we will be painting, and it'll come with a set of teeth that we put in. So I'll be teaching you guys, and it is a full mask, a full head mask. It's like a take I did on like Funhouse Freak type thing. You know, this mutant, but it has these sharp teeth fangs that I'll show you how to glue in after we paint it and stain the teeth and everything. So you paint the whole mask, stain the teeth, and we go through the whole process, how to do flexible, easy, cost-effective, flexible paint, how to paint the layers real thin, how to make it all work so it can be wearable and all that. And, you know, how to do veins, how to do speckling, how to do sponging, all these neat little tricks to bring it to life. And you get a 10-color set of paints with the class. So you get the mask, the paints, and sit with me for 8 hours and paint an awesome mask for October Halloween time. I mean, come on. What more can you ask for? So you can sign up for this class. I have a few seats left. It's coming October 22nd. You can go to my website, caseylovemonsters.com. Go to in-person classes. Do not go to online. Avoid online classes because I don't have any online classes right now. So go to in-person classes. It's a link up above. It says in-person. Click on that. It'll take you. You'll see this thing and a sign up down below. And you can sign up for that class. Okay? And that's about it for tonight. Thank you guys again for joining us for another Monday Night Monster Jam from me, Sam. Thank you so much. We've had a blast. And we will catch you guys next Monday. Peace out.
Peace
Have
out.
a good night.